Good evening and welcome! We are doing our Kerbal thing tonight again. Actually, I have been working with the mission editor. Hey, Aquila Hawk 2001, how are you? So, yeah, I have been working on this 2001 related themed set of missions with Shadow Zone, I believe. What actually happened was I posted the concept a few days ago, and then people were like, Shadow Zone was like, but I was doing that, and it's not, can we work together? And I was like, hell yeah, totally, because he's doing massive discovery thing. So I have a few missions here, but they're still works in progress, but I think we can do this. So let's show you what we've got. But before we do all that, let's say hello to everyone that's here. Pushing Robot, Catharis, Aquila Hawk 2001, Silent Searchlight 31, 3C7, Thrygonger, Mcthulu Davren, Siantican, Sean the Gen, Caffeine 1138, Alex, Madios 69. How are you all? So yeah, this is the pan cam, which isn't properly working yet, but I can show you. Let's reset it. I can show you what I've got here. So basically, if you remember 2001, there's a whole ape sequence which we are not going to do with Kerbals because I don't have ape suits for them. If we had ape suits for the Kerbals, we might totally do that. So we have, good morning, this is the 2 o'clock service to Space Station 5. Please stow your tray tables and ensure your harnesses are secure. Flight pan will involve an initial high G boost, transition to a 45-degree climb, separation of booster, and low thrust descent into orbit. After initial boost, there will be an extended period of weightlessness during rendezvous and docking. Fly safe, and I'm actually just going to secure this. This is the Space Station 5 that I want a rendezvous with, and I haven't set its orbit up right, so we need to kind of make that come around. Let's do that. So Infinity War and concluded Disney just wants all the money. They do certainly seem to want all the money, and I do think it's interesting that Infinity War managed to make more money in its first weekend than Justice League did during its entire run. When the press talks about superhero fatigue as something that's going to happen sometime, I think it is happening. It's just happening to the DC movies. So anyway, yeah, this is supposed to be the the Orion shuttle, right? So if you saw the concept art, which isn't in the movie, you don't see this, but it's a piggyback shuttle design. Now, my design is obviously a little shorter than the design used in Space Odyssey because it needs to fit inside the space station, right? And the space station has limited size. So that's what this is built for, and here we're getting ready to go. Continue. I said continue. Thank you. Oh yeah. Oh, I should probably unlock my brakes. Brakes would be a good thing to unlock. Okay, there we go. And then we're going to climb up into a 45-degree climb. Because this thing has it. So what we've got there is a vector engine, and we've got the toroidal engine, right? So here we go. So this is what we're aiming to rendezvous with, but first of all we're going to get into a steep climb. Now this thing is supposed to have enough fuel to return to base. That's kind of an important factor to consider. It's no coincidence that Marvel movies are infinite at a time of perpetual global warfare. Depends on how you define warfare, of course. I'm just waiting for my apoaps to get sufficiently high that I'm comfortable letting this thing go. Okay, so we cut thrust, and then this keeps going. So in theory, I can then fly that thing back to base, and it does have enough delta V to do so. But I'm just going to leave this thing on its lower thrust trajectory. Can we decouple that? Oh, thank you. Why is that attached to me still? Sky was just doing that as a joke. She was trolling everyone waiting in lines like, you can't see this, the hair is all wrong. Instantly unwatchable! Okay. Just trying to correct my inclination just a little so that I don't have to worry too much about getting close to my target. So we're basically going to pop up and hopefully be roughly in the vicinity of the space station when we get there. Just wait until you see Space Station 5. You like the Darth Vader cameo? Where's the space station? Is it in range yet? 116 kilometers. This is pretty cool. It's gonna be there sometime. Apoap's height is rising. So the space station is at 150 kilometers, and that's hopefully where the rendezvous is going to happen. The Strategizer is now hosting me for 3 viewers. Okay, here we go, and getting pretty close. Oh man, I'm totally off course. How close is that? 100. Intersect 33 kilometers, and in fact getting further apart. So wait a second. The target is positioned ahead of me, so I need to lower my orbit so that the thing decreases there. See that? 98765. Getting closer. Now the problem is we're below the orbit, so I need to burn upwards to correct for that trajectory. Let's do this. So this is me just kind of mostly eyeballing the rendezvous with instrumentation, obviously, so it's not really eyeballing, is it? Okay, so let's set my orbit with the target, because we have it targeted. And we should be able to see our target station now. There it is there! Ha 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 ha! Ah... Oh, Uberspaz says he played Stellaris for the first time and they added a form of genocide when you can turn people into food. Right? What the hell happened to that game? It just got better, right? That's all I can say. I think Stellaris is, you know, something quite special. Special Forces special. I like how it's literally coming out of the sun at me. It's coming out of the sun! My thrust to weight ratio is 1.71 and I need to do that in 50 seconds. It's what it's going to take. So when my time to close approach gets to about 30 seconds, that's when I'm going to fire my engines. That's my... Actually, 1.71. No, in fact, 30 seconds. No, my TWR... wait a second. Thrust to weight ratio is 17 meters per second. So actually... Oh man, brain is having a hard time doing this mental math here. I'm going to wait until 20 seconds out. 20 seconds should be pretty good. So I'm using target relative velocity, obviously. Okay. Fire those engines. And in fact, I'm going to adjust my course a little to push that reticule back on the target. Doing pretty good here. Okay, so we can kill that velocity in a few seconds now, so we'll just let ourselves get in a little closer still. We're taking a very aggressive approach to this rendezvous here. I'm going to open my docking bay because, you know, aggressive. Here we go. It's going to suddenly show itself up and it might be in the sun. Where's the space station? There we go. Okay, so now... There, 30 meters per second. That's pretty good. So the problem with the mission scripting system is I can't actually make this thing fly... I can't make it rotate. So if there was a way for me to actually make it rotate and give you bonus points for that, I would. But unfortunately, not happening. I know it needs persistent rotation and many other things. I'm going to slow down to like 10 meters per second now. And in fact, turn prograde, because I think I'm going to need RCS thrusters. Oh, there we go. I think I can fit through this. I'm going to just fly through the thing here because we're approaching the space station from the wrong side. Persistent rotation has been a thing in Kerbal for a long time. I won't let calendars tell me what not to believe. Nice, here we go, just flying through the spokes because we're badass, car-free Kerman and all that. And there's the space station! Oh yeah, baby. So I'm going to use my RCS thrusters to slow down to 0. 63 meters per second on these. Now we're going to switch to very high sensitivity. So flip through 180 degrees, because we got to perform this. So there's a docking port in the bottom here. So if that spins, you will get 1G. If many things can happen here. You know what I also should do is turn on the lights on this thing, just to be sure. There we go. Now we get lights, so this thing looks a whole lot better. Nice. I think we're doing well here. Okay, so actually we can take a look at this thing from the cockpit as well, huh? Let's try this. So reaction control is on. Yeah, so we're now sliding down and sliding sideways. Oh, a little bit of rotation there. There's my little navigation thing down there. The future was just poetic and fantastical in 1968, that's right. Coriolis forces in that docking bay would be interesting. But you know what? Here's the thing. Elite Dangerous does all that, and it handles it just fine. I'm going to have to come out of the cockpit. I'm going to start moving forwards. There we go. So we have that locked, but you know what I need to do is actually lock this. Oh man, you know what? Ah, there we go. Clampetron docking port set as target. So that is my current target. So I think I need a little more height here. We're moving in at about ½ meter per second. What crazy future would have docking? Yeah, ask any elite player. And they'll say, hold my Levian brandy and watch this. Has anybody ever played Elite and tried to dock without all the with all the extra fly-by-wire disabled? It's a fun experience. I'm gonna say that. Yes, futuristic space stations would be nice, but unfortunately... Oh, you know what? We're slightly off axis here. So I can actually kill my lateral and kill my horizontal, I think. Elite Dangerous is not what you... It's fun in the same way that flight simulators are fun, right? There's so many fun things to do in Elite Dangerous if you want to. Or you can just grind for credits. It's up to you. Okay, so we gotta slide it into the docking bay very gently. I'm using fine controls on the RCS, very important. Can you switch to the space station and start spinning it? Not today. Just be aware that there are many other things. The problem is that I can't do it inside the rules of the mission and make it give you extra reward for it. So you know what? I need to actually go sideways a bit. Okay, now I gotta slow down. Now here's the next thing, is I can control from here. And unfortunately, where's the target? There it is. There's my target coming in. You see that? What a beautiful docking maneuver. Wait, who's talking about the docking music from Gravity? Oh crap. Wait, I gotta get my camera in here. Now, to go down, I do H. Yes. Almost. Oh, yes. And we docked. Hey! And I did it with... I like how it says 0 meters per second of delta V available. That's only because this thing can't actually access the huge amounts of fuel that are on this space station. I mean, like, so here's the thing. I wanted to make this space station, and the truth is, most of the biggest parts are all fuel tanks, so the entire thing is just like a giant fuel depot. So anyway, that's supposed to be the end of that mission, which I haven't all scripted up. Right? Oh yeah, Starfighter Inc. Alpha, yes, I've got that as well, and I have to play it, and I'm sworn to secrecy. Or maybe I'm not allowed to be... I don't need to be sworn to secrecy anymore. I don't know. Like, I could, you know, load this up and all that. Could you have a pair of solid rocket motors that fire outside of the station's ring programmatically? Start the station spinning that way. Sure you could. Notice that we have Haywood Kerman, by the way, as a space tourist that we're flying along. You know? Okay, so we should have... Yeah, this will be enough fuel for us to get home, right? Alright, how do I know about lottery laws? Because I've worked at .coms that needed to know about lottery laws. Control from here. Okay. Uh-oh. Let's get out of here. Yes! We're leaving the space station now. Obviously, the problem with this, right, was that we pretty much wanted to make a docking bay, right? And that kind of defined... The size of the aircraft was defined by the size of docking bay that I could build. So anyway, now we've got to try and get home, right? Should we try to land on the desert runway? Right? You heard that. The desert runway. Let's go to... warp to here. And then... I'm going to point my rocket south. Actually, I should point it a bit there. So I start beginning re-entry. So I'm gonna oh, wait, did I... Oh, damn it. I got it back to front again because I'm a numpty. There we go. So the desert runway, 2S's note, is about 6 degrees off the equator. Right, the desert runway just happens to be about the same latitude as you would expect if you were traveling to Minmus. Not latitude, inclination. I don't know what altitude that's at, but I think I'm going to retrograde things a little more. Isn't that where the pyramids are? Yes, they are. Okay, hopefully I can survive this re-entry. Otherwise I'm going to be in trouble. The desert planet is Minmus. Oh god. Right, any thought on the new EULA making Kerbal spyware? No, it doesn't make it spyware any more than you calling something spyware makes it spyware. Listen, have you ever owned an Android phone? Have you ever used a Google system? These are all the kind of things that you end up agreeing to if you have practically anything. But very specifically, right, the reason why that content is in there is because Take-Two used the same EULA for all their properties, which means it has to cover online Grand Theft Auto where cheat prevention is important, right? Now, the specific spyware stuff, right, is people basically taking anti-cheat and turning it into like some claim that they're actually spying on people, which, yeah, right, you know what, Squad have better things to do with their time, right? But more importantly, there is no online component of Kerbal Space Program, therefore it can't spy on you. God. Seriously, what happened to... Remember a few months ago everyone was saying that all the mods were going to get taken down because of EULA changes? No? Did anyone remember that? What happened to all the mods? Oh yeah, the developers added more stuff to make modding happen. Like, come on, seriously. People just want to hate on Squad because, you know, they got bought and people are just... You know what? A lot of the stuff is being fomented by individuals who played Grand Theft Auto. That's it. Right, you can play it outside the Steam folder. It's DRM free. You don't even need to have Steam running. Right? It's ridiculous that people get so hung up on these hypotheticals. And more importantly, it's crazy that I see people complaining about this kind of stuff on Facebook. Have you seen what you sign up for if you use Facebook? Have you seen what you sign up for if you like log into YouTube, right? All these things are in there, seriously. Just chillax, right? Legalese doesn't make something do something bad. It just basically what is it? It saves their butt legally if something bad does happen. I have not seen what happens for WeChat in China, but I'm sure it is bad. Okay, I'm gonna take a high angle of attack here. I don't know, this might be too much for this plane. Watch the G-forces here. 1G. Oh. My vertical speed is dropping, though. This might just be too steep an angle of attack for this thing. Oh, come on. Yeah, I'm using RCS to maintain a high angle of attack. There's my nose going. But look, my velocity is really bleeding off. So this is a good sign, actually. I think I might be able to glide through this. I know I needed to go in pretty steep because I need to get to this target here. Oh. So I need to come out of this with sufficiently high, you know, horizontal speed. So I want to kill my vertical speed first, and then we'll just kind of cruise along, find that runway. We do have a little bit of cross-range capability with my engines, but that's about it. Disable fine control, that's true. Maybe I should disable fine controls. Thank you. Thanks for reminding me I had fine controls enabled. Yeah, look, we're gonna get over this thing. And hopefully I'll be able to glide to my target. You know what? I'm gonna just adjust something here in the settings because I believe I probably have ambient light boost enabled and it's making the desert look really... Yes, okay. Sometimes you need the ambient light boost, sometimes you don't. Can I target this? Oh, what the heck? No! Why did it do that? Thank you. No. Oh, man, never mind. There, is that it there? That must be it down there. That must be the runway down there because I'm seeing it. Do any spacecraft actually use reaction control systems to maintain attitude on re-entry? The shuttle actually did that, but it also used aerodynamic control surfaces. So it had a bit of both. But the and the Apollo capsules, so the attitude control, what they did with the Apollo capsules was that the crew was distributed, the weight was distributed so that it had an offset center of mass, right? And that meant that they couldn't really control pitch and yaw, but they could control roll, so they could roll the capsule around that center of mass so they could steer it. There we go. I think we can get to the runway from here. I should probably turn off RCS now. Now that we're deep inside the atmosphere, we should have the capability to turn. Yeah, there we go. Thank you. Karen NX has provided exactly the kind of clarification that I like to hear from my audience. Basically points out that the space shuttle switched from RCS to aerodynamic surfaces in a staggered fashion, and the last transition was the yaw control. So yaw would be maintained by would be produced by RCS until the very last minute. Okay, we're on a pretty steep glide approach here, but I think we can do this. If not, I do actually have fuel. So this is the new desert runway. Did the space shuttle have reaction wheels? No, it did not. The space shuttle the space shuttle was all about reaction control thrusters. Interesting fact, actually. Did you know that the Gaia spacecraft uses reaction control thrusters only? It doesn't use reaction wheels because they generate too much vibration for the mission. So they... Man, this is really bright. I must have landed like at midday. Okay, I'm gonna you know what I'm gonna do actually? I'm gonna use these for air braking. I'm pressing... Come on, slow down. Okay, well, kinda didn't quite get the runway because I had too much energy. But hey, I landed safely. That's not too bad. Anyway, let's go to the mission builder. And so the other thing, actually, you know what? We should actually demonstrate that we can land the other part of this. So let's actually launch this again. Test mission. 45-degree request. Yeah, let's just run checkpoint dialog message. So it tells me 5 seconds. 45. Yeah, let's just load this one. Run test. Let's see what's happening. Oh yeah, so here we go. This thing is going to go to 45 degrees. And so I just want to show that this plane can actually also perform a return to launch site. You'll notice I did not have much margin on that spacecraft with the final rendezvous. Just, yeah. What's up? What is up is the Orion and the carrier aircraft. So obviously this doesn't look quite as cool as the model they used for the Orion in 2001, but I think it's pretty close. Does anyone remember what my Apple Apps was when I decided to cut this thing loose? Was it like 40 kilometers maybe? Okay, so that thing's going to do that. And then this thing, right, now what it's going to do is perform 180 degrees. Uh-oh, wrong thing. So it has a small amount of rocket fuel, so it can perform this backflip maneuver to cancel out its horizontal speed. There we go. Oh, and it still has 14 meters per second of delta V left. That's pretty well timed if you ask me. So this thing is just like going straight up and it's going to pancake down. It's going to totally RTLS. That's the plan. Did you see the news about Blue Origin's first flight this past Sunday? Did you check my Twitter as I was live blogging it and talking about the... It wasn't really a test flight so much as it was an infomercial with rockets involved. Hey, K Lightning, have you seen my space shuttle video in orbiter where I attempt to perform exactly the same maneuver? But, you know what? This needs to come off as well. Oh, I guess that radial decoupler is refusing to leave me. Damn it. Well, you're loyal till the end. We'll see how far... The capsule landed so hard. Yeah. Ever thought of doing a Rise of Flight campaign? I've tried Rise of Flight campaigns and they inevitably end up with me, like, falling out of the sky. Have you ever tried a shuttle transatlantic landing? I've not, because here's the thing. I can't be bothered reading through all the actual checklists and everything because I'm kind of a, you know, I have no attention span for that kind of thing. So, yeah, what I did instead was I'd read some magazine articles about RTLS and I knew roughly what it involved. So I did my space shuttle RTLS essentially without reading the manual. No, I didn't forget the landing gear. What I forgot was how to apply the brakes. I got the space shuttle onto the runway and then I was like, oh crap, I don't remember how to apply the brakes. And it was kind of beautiful because I looked up the manual in the middle of the runway. I paused the game. And then when I did get them running, I managed to stop just before I fell into the canal. It was like really a close thing. So it was like a perfect ending to a mission that had just been continuously me messing things up. So I'd love to try it with proper stuff, but I'm so proud of that because it was my first attempt and I got so close to doing it right. I thought I did a great job. I'm maybe exaggerating, but I thought I did pretty well. There we go. So this thing you see has done a boost back. We'll have enough altitude for a bit of a turn. So this is the idea. It's instead of... This is the stage 1, right? Like, this is the Falcon booster. And it's going to return to the launch site and land. So let me see. We're passing the launch site. We're about 7 kilometers up. And that means that I should probably turn around 4 kilometers. I'm going to leave that engine... you know, sure, I'll lock that gimbal. It doesn't really matter because it's going to look ugly. I've only got, like, you know, 13 meters per second of delta V. So once we get to about 4.5 kilometers, I'm going to perform a bit of a turn. Maybe I should do that sooner. I don't know if I'm going to have enough. I think I shall maybe start performing this turn now. I think I've maybe turned too early. Actually, I think I might have done it just right. Who knows? Any thought on that Unity flight that happened some time ago? Unity flight? What? I like how you're wearing headphones like a DJ. It's just kind of my natural way of doing things. Also, sometimes my wife shouts at me from upstairs asking me questions, and so I naturally want to be able to answer those. So you'll notice judicious use of part clipping on this to make it look at least somewhat like the concept drawings. Okay, I'm going to drop my gear because I have too much... once again, I have too much energy. I'm also going to go down low and then I'm going to flare hard so that I hopefully can take like a really high angle of attack for final landing. If you hear that, that is the sound of braking. There we go. That was a much better landing. I know there's a whole bunch of you thought I was going to crash into the end of the runway there, but I knew where that was going. Didn't quite get it on the center line, but I thought that was pretty good. I thought it was a pretty solid landing. Okay, so let's actually go and take a look at the other test that I'm doing right now. So this is going to be released as a pack at some point. I saw a funny thing, a story about an air traffic controller's comment to the pilot of a Ace DC-10 that came in a bit too hot at San Jose. Make a hard right at the end of the runway, if able, take Guadalupe and hang a right. Okay, so let's launch this mission. And I'm going to reset the whole mission. Okay. So, yeah, here we go. We are in charge of delivering our special operative, Haywood Kerman, to Clavius base on the moon. Speed is important, so don't be afraid to burn more fuel than usual to get there as quickly as you can. Clavius base is a crater near the South Pole. You've been clear for landing during the quarantine. Don't worry, I know for a fact you're not going to be exposed to any deadly pathogens. Wink, wink. So just concentrate on getting there fast. And the first thing we're going to do is put my landing gear in and turn on my lights. And you'll notice that we have kind of left the space station, by the way, which is there, just sitting behind us. So actually, I'm going to plot myself a course to the moon. So that's target, and we're going to be about there. Okay. Oh, that's pretty good actually. 806 meters per second. I should focus the view on this. So the base is at the South Pole, so I'm going to want to accommodate for that. But look, we found a spot where we can burn, so I'm just going to point my maneuver node at it. And I'm going to activate my engines. We're not ready to fire just yet. 31 minutes away. We'll do it with about minute 30 before the burn window happens. Oh yes, we should do that. So we have Jebediah Kerman, Bob Kerman, and Haywood Kerman. Nice, look at that, huh? Aren't space planes in 2001 SSTOs? Cool Lightwing, and not according to the concept art that I saw. It was they used a booster. There was a slightly different version that was in concept art which had a detachable engine section. So there have been many variants, but I decided to go with the non-SSTO version. But this is like the shuttle that takes the crews to the moon. So this offers low carbon orbit to moon service. Oh, we don't have any ambient light. This is going to bite me in the butt when I get to the moon. So this one is going to require that you actually land on the landing pad. Because that's what they did in the movie. right? They didn't land next to it, they actually put it right down in the middle of a pad. Is Haywood the Kerbal intern? No, no, no. Haywood Floyd is more than an intern. You'll notice the space station, by the way, only has one ring, and the reason is that I just realized the part count would be insane. So while I would like to do it a little more authentic and faithful to the movie, I simply don't think that anybody has the patience to deal with that level of part countingness. Okay, so I'm gonna go prograde, and let's light up the engines. There we go. And there's a station leaving it behind. So, yeah, this is the Ares shuttle from the... You swear the station should be in a higher orbit? I don't know, it seems to be a pretty high orbit. That would be... I don't know. That's what I'm doing. No, Dr. Chandra was Hal's best friend. Chandra was the guy that designed him, right? Haywood Floyd was the... I don't know, he was in charge of stuff. Like, you notice that in 2001, the commercial Pan Am spacecraft and the Ares shuttle that are carrying him around, he's the only passenger, right? So they actually chartered these, you know, these orbital flights and moon flights for a single guy with a single stewardess who gets to, like, spend the rest of the time hanging out and, you know, I don't know what she's doing, but she's probably doing something with her hair inside that helmet that she wears, right? Yeah, the problem is trying to make it. 400 parts is about what's reasonable for me anyway. I know Pan Am went bankrupt, which is such a tragedy because they were also in Blade Runner. That's strange. Apparently changing coordinate system went and messed something up. In 2010, it was HF that Hal was relaying. Was it? I don't know. I don't remember. What's the total specific impulse in that engine? That is a... These are nuclear engines. See that? So we have nuclear engines all hidden away inside it. I've tried to get the look of the spacecraft in the movie, you'll notice. Even down to the reaction control thrusters and the ring of seats. The command capsule isn't quite right. That's the only thing I would say. So this mission, you're supposed to do it faster than you're supposed to, basically. Like, you can take the slow approach, but you'll get more points. The only way to get gold is to do it, like, in under a day. And yes, you have to land it exactly on the launch pad to get the reward or whatever. Which I've been quite good at doing. It's nothing to do with the greenies liking it, it's all to do with the fact that the engines just don't generate enough thrust. Okay, here we go. Well, Bell Telephone was a different thing, because Bell got broken up into the baby bells, right? Okay, focus view. Let's look at this thing. I'm going to bring the orbit down as close as I like. 1 day, 2 hours. Okay, so actually this is going to be slower than some of my orbits. Okay, so now before we get there, what we want to do is adjust the course so we end up coming over the pole. So I'm going to warp there and then make a maneuver. Yeah, then the baby bells came back together and became Voltron Bell, like you know, AT&T, right? So Anti-normal. Yes, we'll go do that. So we're going to bring this thing down. But actually, I should just create like a maneuver node, right? 10 minutes away. So what I want to do is put the orbit over the South Pole, because we're not going to go into orbit. We're just going to go straight into landing maneuvers. Obviously not quite that aggressively. Just in case anyone's wondering. I think I'll give myself a little more leeway there. Okay, that's pretty good. So I'm just going to make that burn now. Although it says 10 minutes away, it's not going to change that much. So it's like 40 meters per second burn and 1700 meters per second of delta V left. Yeah, Pac Bell got eaten by AT&T as well. Okay. So now the other thing is, I've had a slight problem because I'm trying to find the right way to set the target. There's a landing beacon here. That's it. There we go. Landing beacon. Set that as target. Because the landing beacon is basically a probe body that is sitting on the pad. And if you target this Clavius base, then it doesn't give you the retrograde marker. Okay. So, wow, we're coming in really steep here, so I don't know if that's the best way to do things here. Let's do that. Wait a second, how long is it? 5 hours? That's like 10 minutes, right? Oh, 5 minutes. Will that be able to be enough time for me to slow down? I think so. Yeah, let's do that. There's the moon coming. We're going to swing over the South Pole. Bell Canada. Well, Bell was in Canada, right? Alexander Graham Bell was a Scotsman who invented the phone in Canada, right? Okay, here we go. I'd hoped the legendary Jebediah Kerman would have been a little faster. I'm sure our passenger wouldn't be happy with this slow progress. If he weren't asleep, that is. Apparently space food makes Haywood sleepy. So, I'm going to try and adjust my approach vector a little to make sure that I can actually fly over the target. Oh, that's me actually in the process of flying over the target, I think. So I'm guessing the thing changed. You know what? I'm also going to do this. Because otherwise I'm going to come up short here. So I'm basically lofting the trajectory just a little bit. So I can approach at a reasonable rate. Okay, so I think I'm much closer to the trajectory I want to be on here. This is where it gets fun. So if I've got 5 meters per second of delta V, that means it takes 100 seconds to slow down. So 100 times 500 is 50 kilometers. Divide that by 2. 25 kilometers is what I need to slow down to 0, right? Roughly speaking. So I'm gonna... There, by the way, that is TMA1. That is the Tycho Magnetic Anomaly, which is, of course, a monolith at the South Pole. It's not at the South Pole. It's the one of the monoliths that is near the South Pole. What is my altitude? 60, 70 kilometers. That's right, yeah. Scotty, the character, the actor that played Scotty was actually Canadian. But he did that because he actually was... Apparently, as an actor, he was pretty good at accents in general. He's... James Doohan is supposedly also the person that came up with Klingon originally. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, he can be a Scotsman, right? Have I built my Discovery prototype? I am leaving that to Shadowzone, who is doing a fantastic job. So, and we're not going to see that until the final version comes out, but I'm just looking at this. How far away is this? 74 kilometers. I guess I could let this thing come in a little faster. Okay, I'm gonna kill this velocity now. This is where I think I may have... Oh no, actually maybe not. No, I've overcooked it. I'm gonna fly over this thing and have to come back. But that's fine, because I'm coming straight down. When this vector here reaches the top, I've basically gone over... I've overshot. Anyone playing Battletech? I played a bunch of Battletech, but I haven't actually progressed very far in the story, but I've enjoyed the bits I've played, for sure. Also played Phoenix Point, you know, demos and stuff, enjoying that. And I've actually been trying to find the time to record some more video stuff, because, you know, everybody likes the videos, right? Science! And this, for some reason, is not responding correctly, but this is supposed to be... This is Clavius base. We're under quarantine. Oh, yes. Oh, but wait, you have special permission to come here. There we go. I have a lot of sideways velocity, but I think... Yeah, definitely going to overshoot here. That is straight down underneath me now, and I'm still going 200 meters per second, or 150 meters per second sideways. So what I'm going to do is flatten this out and let the vertical speed just kind of accumulate for now. Because we need the horizontal speed to come backwards. There we go. We're going to start coming back. Actually, looks like we're pretty close to being on target here. In fact, I've already overcooked it. Darn it. So this is where I have to kind of manually fly it in. We're 100 meters... watch that speed is all I'm saying. Now, put the engines on idle as we try to get this thing. So the trick is I gotta push the velocity vector to the other side of that, so that it then pushes the position vector over the correct spot. It's kind of complicated. And since we're coming down, I should probably deploy the landing gear, right? What a beautiful shot! Wow! Man, that is cool. Okay, 16 kilometers up. You know what? I think we should shut this down for a little while. Let the engines cool down. We are 15 kilometers up. We're just like way too high up. Does anyone know about the 4K NASA TV channel? I don't know anything about the 4K NASA TV channel. Okay, so when our position vector gets high enough or close enough to vertical, I shall let that happen. Battletech could have been much better, but it feels so clunky. It feels like the board game. I think it, in many ways, has rules and stuff that harken back directly to the game design. So, yeah, I don't have a huge problem with that. Okay, now we're 4 kilometers up. That's a good time for us to be slowing down. This is where it gets to be hard. Because there is a target there that I have to hit. 2.2 kilometers out, and it looks like we're pretty good on course. 50 meters per second. And what's going to happen is as I get in close, the deviations from the landing position are going to become more and more obvious. Okay, so that's 30 seconds to landing. You notice we have a little moon base down there. It's just like basically a bunch of domes. Pro tip, with the making history, you can just make domes using 5-meter fairings. 5-meter fairings can make like 20-meter domes, or 10-meter domes, which is big enough. Oh, shoot. 300 meters per second. There we go again. 10, 12 meters per second. Let's just keep this low enough. What I'm trying to do is chase my velocity vector to keep it exactly on the position vector of the target, right? 302 meters per second. So we're aiming for this landing spot, landing pad. And this requires a fair bit of concentration to try and keep it on target here. Because the changes, the variations get more and more obvious as you get closer and closer in. And I don't really have good instrumentation to keep track of them, so it's a lot of guesswork here. 3.6 meters per second. Nice! Man! Falcon 9 booster, eat your heart out! Safely delivered to the target. Thank you, your passenger will disembark as soon as he wakes up. Until then, you have to wait in the Ares because the base is under quarantine. Have I tried the nav HUD trajectory mod? You know what? That would be great. Obviously, I'm doing this so that the only mod I've got here is Kerbal Engineer because I want to have, you know, because I want to have the, I want it to be available to everyone else. Let's just see how close that was. Yeah, that's pretty nice and close. I like how the engine, the heat sinks are glowing as well. Just for anyone, you know, and just in case you're wondering, now we can really... I missed the DAS raid. Was I totally, like... Did I totally miss someone having a raid? That's hilarious. I'm just, like, completely oblivious to anything happening in chat. Look, you can actually deploy this, by the way, if you want to see... Just so you know, that thing is basically a bunch of fairings. So I still was successful. Obviously my scoring is a bit broken. It's all good, you were landing on a pinhead. Lost in space when Das came in. Lol. Okay, Das! There you are! Fairing fashion structure and all that. Yes. Deployment successful. Everyone died. Yes. I was quite happy with my flying there. I'm not gonna lie. I think I've done some pretty good flying there. So, I should... what should I do? I'm actually gonna load my 2001 thing. So that's where I've been building all my models. We need to build the moon bus. The moon bus is going to have to travel about 50 kilometers from Clavius to the Tycho magnetic anomaly. That's going to be like the next part of the mission. So it's going to be aircraft-like. In the latest KSP build, you can deploy Kerbal chutes when seated in command chairs, so parafoil craft are technically possible now. You know what? I want to just have that bolted onto the side so I can fly. Maybe we should try that, right? Let's just do this. Never mind 2001. Let's try doing a capsule with a Rogallo wing on the top, right? Do do da 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 da. Come on, do that. Thank you. And we're gonna need a command seat, right? Of course, if I do the command seat at the front, he might not be able to fly. So where should I stick it? Center of mass is where? Center of mass is like exactly where the capsule body is. So what I probably should do is flip this 90 degrees like that. There we go. I don't know how he's actually going to get in it. We'll figure that out when he's up there. Oh, you know what? This is what we'll do. Oh, no, we can't do it inside the... Oh, but you know what I can do, actually? What I can do... Give me 1 second. Give me several seconds. I'm just going to stick a booster underneath it and see what happens. TD12 decoupler, and I need to have wheels on the side of this as well, don't I? I might need to have something here that is not. Ah, size 1.5 decoupler. No, I'm not going to use that. Can I just use this and remove it from the staging? Let's just disable staging for now. I mean, I can make it happen manually. I just need a very thin thing to anchor my wheels to. Why is it not letting me do symmetry here? Because I'm an idiot, obviously. Ah, yes, of course. Not plane symmetry. Thank you. No, look, it's confused. Hold on. Let's try this again. This is way harder than it should be. Thank you. Okay, that is a little more sensible. Now where's my nose wheel? I think it needs to be a little further forwards. Oh, but actually, no, what I need to do is grab this and rotate it first. Grab this. This is taking way too much effort for what I'm getting out of it. So in the early days of Gemini, they had this idea that the capsule would basically land under aerodynamic control with under a wing. So this is what I'm trying to do here. So what I want to do is have the pilot get out and fly it from here, but before that we're going to need a little bit of rocket thrust to get it airborne, right? But not too high, That's the other part of this, is we don't want to make it like too crazy because it has to learn how to fly. So I think what I'll do is I'll put one of these boosters on if I can find the damn thing, because it's under engines and not boosters. God, you call yourself a smart person, but you're an idiot. So fuel thrust limiter to 1.495 seconds. Okay, now the next thing it's going to do is that, and it's going to have a whole bunch of wings at the back for stability reasons. Stability wings, stability wings. There, that should work just fine. And that needs to be taken out of the staging equation. There we go. Rogallo, we'll call this Roger. Never quite got RCS build aid. I have to resymmetry the decoupler. Have I? Have I broken the decoupler? I'm confused. The decoupler's fine. Let's see how far this gets. I think I should have given it maybe a little more thrust. Still, the thrust to mass ratio situation will improve somewhat as it gets higher. What he's going to do is he's going to have to EVA. If I right click on this already, just so that the thing is pinned. Okay, EVA. Okay, board. Excellent. And oh, I should have staged, shouldn't I? Crap, I needed a second decoupler. What a moron! I forgot the second decoupler. Amateur hour at Kerbal Space Program. So, solid fuel should be back up. Thrust limiter 1.83. I'm deliberately doing it kind of low thrust. That's what my plan is. Or use the decoupler backward. Oh, I could have just used the decoupler. That's true. It's all backwards already. Everything's backwards. There we go. Once again. We'll let this get to its altitude and then we'll try flying it. So anyway, I've always wanted to have working Rogallo wings in Kerbal Space Program, but it's never quite worked. This should be enough altitude for us. Actually, I should go this way instead. Okay, so we've got the command seat. Once our velocity drops close enough to 0, we shall EVA and we shall then jump in. So ready? Board. There we go. And stage. And deploy shoot. Okay, why did this not stage off? Said. There we go. Thank you. Whoa! Now we need to actually change the deploy altitude to this. There we go. So now we have something that's a little silly, but maybe it will actually fly. Look, this is what I've wanted to do in Kerbal Space Program for a long time, is the Gemini Gemini Rogallo wing lander. Now, they ended up not using it, obviously, because they decided that it would be a little dangerous and a regular capsule recovery might just be the safer option. Okay, so now I'm going to try turning around. Oh look, I mean, I'm turning pretty well. Let's see if I can aim for the runway. Oh, okay. Wow, this is really sensitive. Let's turn on fine controls here. Okay, so I'm dropping very rapidly, so let's try pulling the nose up now and see what happens. 70 meters per second. Descent rate, or sink rate, is 27. Let's pull back even more. So part of the issue is that he is nose down. So the wing is at quite an angle here. Sink rate. Hey, it didn't explode! Oh. Yay! Okay, so I think we can improve on this a little, right? We can absolutely improve on this concept. Let's revert to the spaceplane hangar. I always, when you say, look, here's the clue, right? When you say it didn't explode, it's always too soon. You know that what's immediately is going to happen is that it's going to explode, right? Like, here's this is how you do Kerbal comedy, right? Is you insist that something was fine and didn't explode, knowing full well that it is about to explode. Yes, somebody please, if you see awesome clips like that, post them. Disable torque on pod. Maybe. Ah, man. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do this. I'm actually gonna head out a little so that when we start coming back, we will be a little away from the runway. We all one day shall explode. It is true. Explosions are in our nature. Okay, once again, heading skywards. Murphy really hates Kerbals. Kerbals just embrace Murphy. Okay, once again, wait for my vertical speed to get low enough. There we go, EVA, board. Okay, next. Okay, now I've got to make sure I get out of the way here. Deploy chute. There we go. So we are falling clear from this. Good. Okay, so now he is flying again. Oh, a little bit of a wobble there. Let's try and pick up some speed, right? I love the Rogallo wings. It's just a shame. Like, can some modder just make this a thing that you stick on the side of your pods and then scale them up so that we can... Whoa! Yeah, scale... Oh, okay. That is a little... The physics on this are a little dubious. And I'm pretty sure this is why they never used them on the Gemini. In fact, look, my velocity was backwards there. See that? Okay. Whoa, yes. So actually, look at my velocity vector here. That's kind of interesting. What I should do there. So I'm going to keep it just pointed at the velocity vector as my kind of stability control thing. And that seems to be much better. Right? Oh, that is much better. Sorry, I get itchy nose there. That is sweet. I like it. I like it. Okay, so now we just need to somehow put this down safely. So I'm gonna oh. It does have a lot of velocity there. I don't think we can aim for the top of a vehicle assembly building. I think that is highly unlikely. No boom, Captain Cardboard asked. No boom, replied Garibaldi. No boom today. There's always a boom tomorrow. What? Okay, we're going for the runway. We might be going too fast, but I'm gonna just allow that. Oh, Jeb's got some upper body strength. Yes, I'm sure that is exactly what we've got going on here. Okay. Runway is not happening. Runway is not happening. We lost control right at the end there. No explosion! Yes! Looked, it worked just fine. Oh. How did that work? Let's try boarding the seat again. Seat is obstructed, cannot board. In fact, I'm apparently just clipping through the rocket, which is so unlike the Kerbals. Why? What is up with the collisions here? Did this thing explode and I didn't realize it? Wow, yeah, he has become Vision. Yes, that's clearly like one of those Infinity Stones in his head there. So he can phase through objects like Vision from those other movies that he was able to do that. Okay, let's try one more time. One more time we need to be able to do that. Jeb dies and... Hey, no spoilers. No spoilers. We don't speak about spoilers until, you know, next time when there's spoiler time. Babylon 5 was so good. I'm not gonna lie, Babylon 5 was one of the finest TV shows ever. Let's just turn the brakes off on these rear wheels. The thing about Babylon 5 actually is it's amazing how many of the cast members died in real life. Season 5 was a little iffy, but it did have a few cool moments. Okay, ready for the EVA? Are you ready for the EVA? Are you ready for the EVA? Let's go! And it's board, and now we're gonna fly. Excellent. Now we need to get that deploy shoot. There we go. And I'm gonna turn on fine control here. There we go. Oh, once again, Londo and Jakar were such an amazing double act. They were. There's much to recommend about that show. I should save that. I think saving has dubious behavior when parachutes are involved. Well, so much for that. Several of the actors in Babylon 5 ended up in Star Trek at one point or another as well. I mean, and obviously we had Walter Koenig, who came over from Star Trek to Babylon 5 and was quite a major character. And Majel Barrett, yeah, she was in there as well. So, yes. Babylon, well, so Cthulhu, the War in Heaven, is basically based on Babylon 5, right? That's what. There's so much in Stellaris which is appropriated from other universes and everything. So Stellaris wears its influences on its sleeve, as they say. Everybody gets to know where it all came from, and it's always cool to see new events which you can kind of link back to your favorite shows, favorite movies, or whatever. Equally, though, like I've just in one of my games, I went and I ran through the whole Horizon Signal events chain, and yeah, I turned the Earth into a black hole, and mutated the human species to their original prototype form, and yeah, now everyone on Earth is repugnant but is now natural physicists because we all understand the worm. What was will be, what will be was. Okay, little here. Gonna aim a little higher, just a little higher, just a little higher. When I say a little higher, I'm always just thinking of Han in Return of the Jedi, and or sorry, Lando, where Han's like trying to shoot the Sarlacc, and he's going a little higher. Don't shoot my leg, homie. Oh, I'm hoping Solo does not disappoint, because that would be nice. Okay, let's do this. Sync rate's 2 meters per second. We're doing a stoppie down the runway. I bet you Gemini never trained for that. Can I do a wheelie like this? No, it won't let me do a wheelie. I don't have the torque. I should probably hit the brakes at some point, but it'll probably face plant. Yeah, Jeb is a pro. I should probably cut my chute at some point, right? There we go. This thing isn't really slowing down, though. This is what keeps things from jumping the shark. I assure you, I'm very shark jumped. Yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna stand him up, please. I'm okay! I'm sure that'll stop at some point. Okay. Stop me on a trike with a parachute. Like, that is the most ridiculous... That was glorious and ridiculous and amazing in so many ways. Well, I think actually that means it's a perfectly good time for me to stop this stream. Farewell. It's not really jumping the shark if you don't come back down. That is right. So yes, thanks everyone. I hope people make many clips from this stream, because apparently it had many great moments on it. And I will be around making videos about things and stuff. And remember, we do have the Mars Insight launch on, Friday night, Saturday morning. If you're in California, take a look out for it. And also, I believe somebody pointed out that we can actually, there's a chance that we'll see the the transfer burn as well. So anyway, yes, keep an eye out for that. Everything's awesome. You guys fly safe, stay cool, and all that. Bye.